Hello
Are we
everyone, good
live?
evening. Yeah, we are live now.
Okay.
Uh, Hello everyone, good evening. I am Purnima from Fertility Dost and today we have Dr. Aarti Deendayal with us. She is a clinical director, Mamta Fertility Hospital, Hyderabad. And guys, today we are discussing very important topic, that is aging and pregnancy. I know you all must be thinking that what is this aging? Is this starts as early as 30? No, at times it starts very early in our mindset. So we'll discuss this further along with Dr. Aarti. Hello, Dr. Aarti. Welcome to our
Hello,
show.
Purnima. Hello,
Hi.
Purnima. Thank you so much for having me here.
So, Dr. Aarti, as we know, you have a good grip on this topic, female aging. So please let's start a discussion and important pointers from your side on this topic.
Sure, Purnima. First of all, why is it that people talk so much about pregnancy after 30? It it doesn't mean that your fertility drops drastically after 30. No, it's just that most of the women actually coming to meet a fertility specialist, majority of them are 30 plus. And that is why it becomes important for us to talk about, fertility after 30. What are your chances like? And, know some things about your body, like the natural aging process. And we must also, discuss about how to improve your chances,
Right. This
after
is
the
more
age,
important.
yes, of
Right.
30.
So, ma'am, is it a myth or it's the fact that after 35, Indian woman ovaries starts shrinking? Is it a myth or is it a fact?
Okay, now Purnima, it's not only Indian women, it is the race of females, okay, the human race of
Oh,
females after the age of 35. Okay,
okay.
definitely, it's not a myth, it's a fact. After the age of 35, natural fertility begins to decline. And over here, I want to actually share my screen, Purnima, just, to allow the people joining in to know what are the basic points they should be aware about. Can you see my screen? Yes,
Yes,
no?
ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So a healthy 30-year-old has a 20% chance of getting pregnant each month. And with age, as you asked me just now, is it a fact or a myth? It is a
Right.
fact that fertility starts dropping month on month, where chances of getting pregnant after the age of 35 is between 8 to 15. After the age of 40 is around 5% per month. And of course, after the age of 43 is as less as 1 to 2% per month. And also
Okay.
age affects fertility rates and miscarriage rates. So younger women has have a lesser chance of miscarrying, and as a woman ages, her chance of miscarrying also increases.
Right.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, let's start. And we have one query over here. And this
I
is
don't see any of the chats over here, Purnima.
okay. We'll just highlight.
Yes.
Now you
Yeah,
can
right.
see.
I can see that.
So
Yeah.
I'll just read out so that viewer could understand. I am 35, weight 68, had three miscarriages, March 2007, 2017, April 2018 and April 2020, all in my first trimester in 6 weeks. So I went for IVF but unsuccessful with donor eggs. APLA and cryotype is normal. Myself and husband 46XS and 46XY don't have PCOS or thyroid. We have never done cryotype for miscarriage products. Let me know what precautions should I take for my second IVF in November.
Okay. This is Gokul, right?
Right.
Yeah. Can I have that, the information you provided me? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Gokul, it's very unfortunate that you had to go through, three miscarriages. I totally understand and relate with your pain. It must be very mentally more, I mean, more than physically, it must be also very mentally taxing on you. As you've mentioned, you are 35. I do not know your height, but I assume that you are normal BMI. And most of your abortions have happened, in your first trimester. And the most common cause of first trimester pregnancy losses is, genetic, most common. And though your karyotype, is normal, we really do not know whether, the baby which is forming is genetically normal or no. We really don't know. So I mean, before you go in for your next IVF cycle, maybe doing a few more tests. I would recommend, if you were coming to me, there is something called as a sperm DNA fragmentation index test. So it's also about trying to understand why is it that you're failing. So do you know, is your husband's sperm DNA, that is damage in the sperm, higher than normal? Is that contributing to weak genetic material in the baby? We don't know. Is there some endometrial factor like an infection? We don't know. So definitely, just a little bit more testing rather than just guessing is one thing I would suggest. Two is, after so many abortions, it sometimes becomes, mentally it takes a toll on you. So before you go in for your IVF cycle, maybe a detox will really help, improving your nutrition. See, what the doctor has to do medically, what has to be done will be done. But from your point of view, what are you doing to improve your fertility? Are you exercising enough? Are you having a good sleep, good diet? Have you detoxed? We really don't know. So I would suggest, since you've asked me what else can I do, just improve your chances of conception by exercising, eating the right food, eating healthy, and having a very positive mindset.
Right. No stress.
Yes,
And believe in yourself, things will definitely improve. As doctor said, detox, nutrition, yoga, we also believe in this holistic approach. आपकी
absolutely.
body है, please love your body. Next, Dr. Aarti, we have next query. This is anonymous query with us. I'm 37 with hypothyroidism, one tube removed, 45 kg weight, 5'4" height. Can I conceive naturally? Two IVF failure, one of which ended with ectopic.
Okay. So Purnima, first and foremost, she's 37. We know after the, around the age of 37, the egg quality will be lesser than a younger woman. So that is something
Right.
which is a non-changeable factor. Okay. We have to deal with it. But it doesn't mean that you cannot get pregnant naturally. It just means your fertility is lower than a younger woman. Okay.
Young.
That is first
Right.
point. Second, hypothyroidism is very common, but as long as your thyroid is under control, that is, if your TSH is less than equal to 2.5, I'm not really worried about your hypothyroidism. Okay, that's the second thing. Third, you've had IVF failures. There is, a panel of tests for recurrent IVF failures or recurrent abortions. I'm not sure whether, all those tests have been done. Your karyotype, your APLA, autoimmune causes, as I mentioned, DNA fragmentation index and endometrial problems. I don't really know. So it's not so simple that you can actually, just giving whatever information you've given me, based on that, I cannot pinpoint to what might be the possible reasons. But yes, there is something called unchangeable factors like your age, changeable factor like your hypothyroid, which if it is under control, I'm really not worried about. And your body mass index is 45. I will have to look at the chart to see what it is, but if it is lower than 19, we know lower body mass index, that means very very thin individual with less amount of muscle and fat in their body, and very high body weight individuals, they sort of, their egg quality gets further affected because of their weight issues. So as I told you, unchangeable is 37, but your weight is changeable. So I would definitely recommend you to see a specialist in nutrition to see where you are lacking and what can you eat to make yourself healthier for your next IVF cycle.
So, next, Thank you. Jaya is saying not able to see your live session. Jaya, please log out and then log in again. You will able to see and hear us. So next we have again one anonymous query. And doctor, these queries are from our WhatsApp group and Facebook anonymous queries.
I must
So
mention over here one thing, Purnima, that it is an honor for me to be here, and I'm so happy that I can, guide or support, call it what you may, guide or support the patient in this fertility journey of theirs. And
thank
you're
you
doing
so
an
much.
awesome job, Purnima. I mean, you're doing this with me today, but you've been doing this with so many other doctors in the past, and it's a really great service you're doing for people out there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And for this whole thing, we really need your support. And
Absolutely.
thank you. So next we have hormonal issues query, low FSH, LH, estrogen, due to which I am going for donor cycle. Will there be any complexity due to these issues in donor cycle? Age is 27 years.
Okay. So, my dear, you're quite young, and I'm sure if a donor cycle has been suggested to you, it is, after the doctor has completely evaluated you, given you the options, and that's why you're going ahead. Now, donor cycles, that is donor egg cycle treatment, is quite common. It's not uncommon, or it's not something which has not been tried and tested. It's a more than 40-year-old treatment. So I don't think there should be an issue if the clinic who is doing your donor egg cycles does it according to the ICMR guidelines, test the donor, and tests you, does a proper match, synchronizes both your cycles, and does it. I don't think there should be any issue.
So you can happily proceed with your donor IVF cycle. And as doctor said, your age. It
You're
will
young.
help you certainly. Yes,
Absolutely.
27.
Yes.
Right. So next we have query. I am age 33. I had stillbirth in July 2019. Now we are planning from March 20, but still not conceived. HSG done in July 20. It's shown femoral block in left side. IUI failure in last month. Please suggest.
Okay. So, Sonal, you had a stillbirth. There are many reasons for stillbirths. There can be autoimmune causes. It can be, uncontrolled diabetes and many other reasons. So, I do not know whether that has been investigated. That is first point. Second point, you're trying. You've not yet conceived from March to now. It's been, that means, around 6 months. Uh, we are concerned if the woman is more than 35 years of age and not conceived for 6 months. So you're still less than 35, you've tried 6 months, keep trying for a few more months before you, because you've conceived in the past naturally, you had a child. So keep trying. Do not give up. Do not, be dismayed that you're not yet pregnant. It also might be that you're carrying the stress of your previous pregnancy still, and you need to detox all those negative thoughts and be more positive when you are again trying for your for your pregnancy. Can I have that the case details there, because then I'm looking at every point of information she's giving me and commenting on that, Purnima.
Right. Yeah, please highlight. It. She said that it's shown femoral block in left side.
Okay, so I mean, even if you have the opposite tube, which is patent, you still have a chance of conceiving. So just
Right.
because you have one side blocked tube doesn't mean that you can't get pregnant. But of course, if you don't get pregnant in the coming few months, then the doctor will investigate as to what might be the reason for, the block. She might consider, based on your case, because I still don't know details of your case. Remember, every case is planned very individually based on the entire case, and it's just not based on pieces of information we have. So maybe she'll want to do a laparoscopy. Maybe she'll want to, rule out some sort of a chronic infection. uh,
Right.
so we would maybe investigate in that direction. But don't be worried. Just you're worried because you have one tubal block. You've tried for a few months. Try for a few more months before going and seeing a fertility specialist. And what was the other information, Purnima? I'm unable to see.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you
And
can
we
see.
had one IUI failure. Now, IUI often fails than succeed more often. That is, the success rates all over the world, Sonal, for an IUI cycle at your age is around average 12 to 15%. Maximum, you can go up to around 18 to 20%. Okay. That means out of 100 patients you do an IUI for, maximum of 20 people will conceive in one IUI cycle and 80 will fail. So that commonly happens. So an IUI failure should not bog you down. You don't look at just one IUI cycle. You look at multiple IUI cycles, cumulative pregnancy rate. So it's about 3 IUI cycles. If 40-50% of them do get pregnant, and it's those patients who are not getting pregnant after 3 cycles, then you go to the next stage of investigation or management. Not
Right.
IVF, but there are other management strategies.
So Sonal, try for another 2 to 3 months as Dr. Aarti suggested. And yes, you have other options open for you. Don't worry. So next query we have, how to cure adenomyosis, 2 IVF transfer failure. First is miscarriage at 6 weeks and second blastocyst implantation failure. Age is 34. How to go about next cycle?
Okay. Shilpa, cure adenomyosis. For me, cure is complete disappearance, is called cure. Okay, but sadly, adenomyosis cannot just disappear with any medication. But yes, there are special injections you can ask your doctor for, and those injections sort of shrink the adenomyosis or decrease the adenomyosis, and your implantation rates in your next IVF cycle will be better if those injections are taken before your IVF cycle. So you can ask your doctor for those special injections.
So Shilpa, you can
So for
try
those
for
of you
this.
who don't know, adenomyosis is nothing but like a swelling in the myometrium, that is in the uterine wall, the wall of the uterus. If it's swollen, that's called as adenomyosis. And an adenomyotic uterus has a lesser implantation capacity compared to a normal uterus. So yes, there are injections which can help to improve your chances of implantation.
Next, Gokul is saying, thank you so much, doctor, for your suggestion.
All the best, Gokul.
Yes, all the best. And we would really love to hear your good news.
Absolutely.
Next, we have anonymous query. That is high AMH, age 31, all good. What could be the reason not to conceive?
So, how high is high? That is what I would want to know. So, what is the level of AMH? Usually, high AMH is associated with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So, right. So, my question to you is, have you been, it's not only AMH, there are many other criteria to say that a patient has PCOS.
Ma'am,
So,
AMH is 1.32 in
so
this
that is not
case.
high. A normal AMH,
Right.
yes. So a normal AMH is between 2.2 to around 5.5. That is the normal range. So less than 2.2, is lower, and more than 5.5 is higher. And the higher the AMH, the, yeah. You want me to wait?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right.
Kenny uncle or Raman Masi? Raman Masi is coming tonight.
ठीक है, okay. Hanji, we should start.
These are the
Sorry.
perks of being a mom. This is what everyone wants to do and be.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yes. So
next
1.2 is borderline low.
Mhm. So, can we take next one?
Yes, surely.
Okay. Hello, doctor. I am Anshu from Delhi, age 38 years, married since last 5 years. Still unable to conceive, had HSG done and had bilateral hydrocephalus tube. Went for laparoscopy 3 years back for clipping of tubes, but was unsuccessful cause of dense adhesions. Got diagnosed with stomach TB, done ATT for 9 months, and again had HSG done, but still blockage. Doctors are not ready.
To do
Doctors
IVF.
are not to do IVF without clipping tubes, and I don't want to get it clipped. AMH report tested 8 months back was 5.3. That indicates PCOD as well.
Okay. Now, Anshu, you are very lucky that you are 38 years old and still have an AMH of 5.3. Otherwise, with age, the AMH decreases, and which means that the quantity of eggs decrease. You still have a decent quantity of eggs. I'm trying to look at the positive in your case. The positive point is you still have quantity. You have enough number of eggs. Okay, that's first point. The second point is, now your age is definitely an issue. We know that with increasing age there is decrease in the egg quality. So I'm very concerned about your age, because with every passing year your egg quality is only going to further decrease, and your chances of pregnancy even in an IVF cycle will start to decrease. So I'm concerned about your age. That's the second thing which is striking me in your case. Third point, you've had tuberculosis, you've taken your TB treatment, but sadly, the tuberculosis has damaged your tubes. So bilateral means both sides. Hydrosalpinx, hydro is water, fluid. Salpinx is tubes. That means both your tubes have become filled with fluid. Okay, that is the effect of the infection, the TB infection. Now, if the doctor who's treating you has advised you to get the tubes clipped, I would probably also advise you the same, because we know as it is, if we are going to do IVF in a 38-year-old, your chances are not going to be 50-60% like a young woman. Even in an IVF cycle, it's going to be less. And with
Right.
that, you're having tubes which are swollen. And this swollen tube with fluid, which is unhealthy fluid, if it falls, this fluid pours into the uterus. What happens? This fluid will go and damage that baby and prevent it from implanting. That means you are decreasing your own chances of IVF success, knowing that hydrosalpinx can interfere with your pregnancy. Now, here I would definitely, for those of you, I definitely want to share this so that you understand better. Anshu, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I want to show you. Just give me a minute. Okay, so you see this picture over here? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so this is a normal healthy tube, Purnima. Can you see that? And this is a
Right.
swollen tube. Okay, this is called as
Mhm.
hydrosalpinx. Now the tubes have a connection with the uterus, Purnima.
Right.
Okay, so when in an IVF cycle you're making the babies in the lab and putting these babies, implanting them over here, the fluid over here in a tube which is swollen and unhealthy can pour into the uterus where we have placed these babies and can prevent these babies from implanting. You
Right.
understand?
Right.
So if you are aware why a clipping, so what is a clipping? That means these tubes, this entry of this tube into the uterus is blocked. That's called clipping. So when you clip the tubes, the bad effect this fluid has on the uterus, you are removing it, because it is known that this is a common cause of IVF failure. And so the
Right.
doctor is only wanting to improve your chances of pregnancy in your IVF cycle
Pregnancy.
by asking you to get these tubes clipped. So I would suggest the same.
Right. Right. Anshu, you should go for clipping of the tubes and then again plan your IVF cycle, and hopefully you will get success. Next, we have a query from Preeti Chaudhary. Hi, Doctor and Purnima. How nutrition affects egg quality, endometrial lining, and implantation?
Nutrition does affect egg quality. I won't say that if you have the perfect diet, your eggs are going to get perfect, but The natural aging process, as I told you, you cannot change, but giving good nutrition, to your body definitely helps improve your egg quality and your endometrial lining. Nutrition is the right amount of carbohydrates, proteins, um, and fats. So, I mean, if you go see a specialist, rather than me talking technical stuff, you go see a nutrition specialist. She evaluates what you're taking right, what you're not taking right, and she will advise you. Do you have PCO? Do you have endometriosis? So there are specific nutrition which is advised based on what is your problem. So eating more organic foods, because we also know that the food which we are eating, if it is not organic, it can be filled with chemicals. These chemicals can be endocrine disruptors. So eating maybe organic food. And also we eat so much poultry. We don't know whether these the poultry the poultry is being injected with hormones, and these hormones are entering your body. So all these can disrupt our hormones, cause hormonal imbalances, and indirectly affect the egg quality. So go and see a nutrition specialist, and also ask your doctor for certain supplements. There are certain supplements which improve the egg health, the energy in the egg. So you can also ask your doctor for those supplements.
So Preeti, you can also contact us. We have on-board nutritionist who will certainly help you for this altogether new information. So next we have another anonymous query. Is it safe to go for IVF right now, keeping the COVID in mind? Can an embryo that is formed during IVF get COVID positive, and embryo and mother can get affected later post ET?
Okay, very, very good question. This is now the most. Can I have that question again displayed here, Purnima?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can, answer and comment on different aspects of this question. Initially, when the pandemic outbreak had begun in India, uh, most IVF centers all over India were not doing IVF. Because we needed to understand more about this new virus and its effects, and we wanted to uh, be more safe when we are doing IVF. Okay, so whether it is safe to go ahead and do IVF right now, uh, this is a answer which is very difficult to say. I can't say it is safe. Obviously, I won't say it's like how it was in the pre-COVID era, right? It is,
right.
and it's COVID is here to stay for a while. Yes, the it's people are getting less frightened of it. Life is getting back to normal, but that risk of contracting that infection still exists. But life has to go on. Okay, so it is a calculated risk you're taking if you're still going in for IVF. Now, all over India, all over the world, maybe over the last couple of months, again, IVF cycles have begun. That is, they have restarted in all the IVF centers all around the world. So initially, there was a shutdown for 4 months after the pandemic started, and nobody in the world, most centers in the world, majority were not doing IVF. Is it risky? Is it safe? I won't say it's completely safe, but the IVF cycle can be made safe by certain precautions the patient takes and the IVF center takes. Okay, so testing is done for the patient, the couple, and if it is absolutely required that IVF is done right now, then we go ahead taking the precautions, and the safety precautions both from the center side and the patient side. Yes, and if the patient feels that they can wait, they're young, don't have too many problems, don't have pressure, they want to wait for a little bit more time till things settle down, the vaccine is out, risk of contracting the infection is less, they can wait. But then there are some cases, Purnima, where you can't wait, like they're getting older, every month counts.
Right.
They have very, very less eggs, they're undergoing doing treatment for cancer, we have to, cryopreserve their eggs because cancer cannot wait till the COVID, cancer treatment cannot wait till COVID is gone. So in such circumstances where IVF is inevitable, you go ahead taking precautions. If it is, you can wait till it is slightly safer, things are better in your community, and then go ahead.
But ma'am, is it possible to get affected post ET?
See, first of all, how does COVID spread? It has nothing to do with ET. COVID is
Right.
spread through fomites, right? So after the embryo transfer, you go home, you are isolated, you are careful. Nobody who has COVID is, in touch with you. Or, there can be anybody in your family who's a carrier, asymptomatic carrier.
Right.
So there is
Right,
no
right.
relation between embryo transfer and COVID.
And-
COVID can happen with or without embryo transfer. The method of spread is totally different. Yeah.
So if you can wait, then good. And if you cannot wait, then please go ahead and take
Absolutely,
proper
you can go
precautions.
ahead. Absolutely right. Like, the other day, Purnima, I had a patient,
Right.
husband and wife, very much, have the minute they started their IVF cycle, they isolated themselves socially, did not go out too much. Husband was just going to work. He's a software professional. He was going to work, coming back. The cycle, happened. The wife we tested the husband and wife before doing the cycle. The wife was negative. And in the beginning of the cycle, the couple were negative. Just before the embryo transfer, also, again, we do the COVID test for both the husband and wife. The wife was negative, but the husband was positive.
Oh,
Even though he thought he was socially isolated, but he was going to work. So you really don't know
Right.
from where he has contracted. He goes to the vegetable seller, he buys vegetable, he goes to the market. All those things you cannot avoid, right? And
तो
then
फिर आपने
they came
cycle
to know the
postpone
source.
करा?
Absolutely. And they came to know later because he was surprised. How can I be COVID? I don't have some, symptoms. But then we had to now socially isolate the husband and wife because the husband is otherwise the care provider for the wife after the embryo
Right,
transfer. Yeah. And then they, traced back that, the watchman in the husband's complex
Okay.
was
Okay.
positive. And there must have been some interaction over there, and he has got that infection from there. So such things is not under anybody's control, Purnima.
Right, right. So be careful and avoid going out while undergoing your embryo transfer. We have next query. Unexplained infertility. मुझे तो ये unexplained word से ही कई बार घबराहट होने लगती है. Age 35. I had got IVF done 3 years back. Implantation failure. Had undergone laparoscopy and hysteroscopy also in the past. I have had a history of uvitis and later had taken anti-TB medicine for 9 months. 6 years back, my husband has some motility issues. Still, we have some frozen embryos, but I am reluctant and having anxiety. Married for 10 years. Any advice will be grateful. Please advise, can I conceive naturally or should I try again fresh IVF cycle or continue with this?
Okay. Now, Purnima, I need that,
Sure.
the information. Yeah, right. So, Purnima, as you mentioned, unexplained infertility just means it has the reason for the infertility has not been explained till now. For me, that is the meaning of unexplained. Okay. Yes, I meant I usually don't like using that terminology too much. I feel, you dig deep enough, you will find the reason and, you can advise the patient forward. She is 39, but then 6 years. So now we have an age issue, which is not reversible, right? Now
Right.
she has frozen embryos in the another center. I can understand, because of the what all she's gone through, 10 years of married life, not had a baby till now, had surgery. So I can imagine her mental state of mind. Yes, she's frustrated, anxious. It's but natural to have this negative mindset as well. So my heart goes out to her, but I meant logically speaking, she has embryos which were made 6 years back. That means when she was 33, when she was younger. So
Right,
most
true.
probably those embryos, those babies are healthier than what embryos will come out of a present IVF cycle if done now. Because now her IVF
Right.
cycle will result in eggs which are 39-year-old. Whereas the IVF cycle done 6 years ago were from 33-year-old eggs, which are definitely will be healthier than a 39-year-old egg. So I would definitely say go back for your frozen embryo transfer cycle. To your chances of natural conception, if you have normal tubes, your tubal status you've not mentioned. We don't know your tubal status, so your chances depend on, one is the tubal status, and two, also on your husband's sperm quality. And you've mentioned here has motility issues, so I don't know how severe is the motility issue. So chances of natural conception, I won't be able to comment because I don't have information about the husband's sperm motility, and I don't have information also about the tube. So I won't comment on that as yet. Yes, I can say you are anxious, develop a more positive mindset, exercise, improve your, health. Uh, I don't know if you've been investigated completely, because now you have frozen embryos. So is your endometrium, healthy, and has it been investigated completely? Whether, you have some autoimmune issue, if you can ask your doctor to find out that as well. Because you said you have a history of uveitis. So, what is the reason for uveitis? Is there some sort of an autoimmune cause over here? So, I mean, get investigated for any other autoimmune causes. Go back for your frozen embryo transfer cycle after you develop a more positive
Right.
mindset. That is very,
That is
very
more.
important. Yeah.
Right. That is more important. Okay, we already have taken this. What precautions should the patient take while visiting the fertility hospital in planning for pregnancy? So, we have already discussed it. So, let's move
I'll,
to.
I'll comment on that because it's a very good question and it's a very
Right, right,
basic question. Yeah, that when you are going to a fertility hospital, when you're going anywhere, first basics, a N95 mask for the husband and wife, carry your sanitizer along. When you're leaving the house, wash your hands, carry your sanitizer every hour, sanitize your hands, maintain your social distancing. In our hospital, we provide a kit for the patient, of mask, of gloves, and most hospitals also have sanitizer present at every level, where the patient can go and sanitize themselves every
right,
hour,
right.
maintain distance, don't go out for social, frequent social gatherings, because that is another place where you can contract the infection. And after you come back home, always make it a point to immediately go and bathe and disinfect the clothes which you have worn when you have gone out.
So please take care of all these things. And if you wish and if you feel safe and positive about yourself, then you could easily continue with your IVF cycle. Next query we have. Hi ma'am, I'm 38 years, married since 5 years and had two miscarriage. One was recently. Now doctor has done DNC but still my bleeding is little bit. There she checked again beta HSG, but nothing is there related to pregnancy in my uterus, but some heavy blood clot is there in uterus. So she told me to go for hysteroscopy to check uterus, what type of deposit is there, whether it is polyp or something else. So it is right to go for this surgery, and after this I can be pregnant again. And she was telling little bit. Okay, let's. The main query is that is she be able to go for this DNC and hysteroscopy to check the uterus?
See, if the doctor has advised a hysteroscopy, she must be suspecting some problem within the uterus. That is it a polyp? Is it retained products of conception? That means, the abortion has not completely, the products of the abortion have not completely come out, and they have caused, products to be retained. And here again, I would want to, share my screen so that uh, you know, she understands. 1 minute, give me a minute. What a hysteroscopy. So this is what a hysteroscopy. This is how you look at the uterine cavity. So this is how. Can you see me, Purnima? You
Right,
can.
right. Yes, I can.
So this is how a normal uterus, the cavity looks, Purnima. But you see, these are all micro, small polyps, multiple small polyps. This is like a large polyp over here. Now this is some retained products present over here. Here, if there is adhesions, something stuck inside, this is a septum. So these are all different problems which can be diagnosed on hysteroscopy. So I would,
Hysteroscopy.
yes. So if the doctor has advised, I'm sure she has some suspicion, and just knowing that all these problems can be found out and treated
Right, right.
makes you ready to go for the procedure, and of course you have a chance of conceiving after that.
Anshu is saying, thank you, doctor. We'll do the same. And
Welcome, Anshu.
are, please tell me the reason of not forming fetus heart rate.
Yeah, Arti. So when the baby, stops growing and the heartbeat doesn't develop, so that's what you're trying to tell me. What are the reasons? There are many, many reasons, Arti. I meant right from, genetic causes, which is the most common. It can be some sort of an infection. It can be some autoimmune. You have some antibodies in your blood which are going and attacking the baby and not allowing the baby to develop further. It can be uncontrolled hormonal issues, uncontrolled diabetes. Yeah, it can be, problems even with the male's sperm DNA quality. There can be chromosomal issues. So there are so many issues, Arti, and you'll have to get the whole recurrent I mean, if this is only one pregnancy which has aborted, it can still happen. It commonly happens, but usually world over, we start doing all these investigations if there are two or more abortions. So there is a recurrent pregnancy loss panel which is usually done for such patients who have two or more abortions. So you ask your doctor, or you go to your doctor with this issue. I'm sure she'll do all these investigations for you.
So, Aarti, please consult your doctor for more further information. Next query. Hi, doctor. My cousin had an ovarian cyst and it was twisted with fallopian tube on left side. And doctor has removed her left ovary and now right fallopian tube is also blocked. What you suggest? How can she conceive?
So, Pooja, what I understand is the left tube is removed and the right tube is blocked. So,
Right.
yeah, so it looks like, I mean, there is no other option but IVF, because both her tubes, are non-functional. So, IVF, I mean, if she's young and she has a good reserve of eggs, IVF gives very good success rates. So, not to worry.
Not to worry, right? Ask your cousin to consult a good fertility specialist. And if you want, we can also suggest good fertility specialist in her city. Please contact us. Okay, good evening, ma'am. Please tell me the reason for my case. Aarti again.
Aarti,
Not
you have
able
to
to
be
get
investigated. Yes, I have 5 times till now not get. So I assume that what she's trying to say is she has aborted 5 times till now.
right, right, right.
Yes, and if she's asked previously that the heartbeat is not coming, it means that
Not
she's had
coming.
five. Yeah, she's had five. First
Miscarriages.
trimester, first 3 months she must have aborted. And as I just mentioned, Aarti, I meant I know how upset and frustrated you must be feeling. There are tests to understand what might be the possible reason, and once you find the reason, then we can go ahead based on the problem to treat you, support the pregnancy.
Right. So next we have what precautions from the patient point of view. I think the above mentioned question about COVID and precautions. So as doctor suggested, go home, take a bath, wash your clothes, sanitize yourself properly, and don't worry, you are safe. So next we have, ma'am, I am 38 years, married since 5 years. Nee,
What
this
is the
I
cause of
think,
empty follicle during retrieval?
what is
Can
the
I
cause of empty follicle during retrieval? Right.
So, empty follicle syndrome, Purnima, is when in an IVF cycle we puncture the follicles. Follicles are nothing but compartments, right, in which the egg is
Right.
present. So we are, puncturing the follicle and taking out the follicular fluid and searching for the egg. So, if we do not find even one oocyte among the follicles which have been picked up, it's called empty follicle syndrome. Again, causes can be many. It can be that the empty follicle syndrome has happened only in that particular cycle, and chances that it will repeat itself in subsequent IVF cycles is only about 15 to 20%. It can be just one cycle. So it can be, the reasons can be many. It can be there is an inherent egg defect. That is one possible reason. But it doesn't mean that she cannot conceive in the further IVF cycles. It doesn't mean that she'll not get eggs in her subsequent IVF cycle. I've had
So, ma'am, one thing, is it possible that this empty follicle is related to somehow low AMH? Is it
it is
possible?
more okay. Now empty follicle syndrome is possible, is happens more commonly in women who have higher age and lower AMH, but it
Okay,
can
right.
also happen in other age groups as well. Now if
Okay,
it happens in a woman who's older or a woman who has very low AMH, it can be that
mm-hmm.
it is an inherent egg problem. That means it is a problem in her
Okay,
egg. But it again doesn't mean
right,
that it will repeat itself in every cycle. But you also have to be aware it
okay,
can repeat 20% of the times.
okay,
Two, if there is an empty follicle syndrome in a particular cycle, there are some medication we alter in the subsequent IVF cycles, so that we can improve our chances of egg retrieval. I mean, oocyte retrieval.
right. So
So
we
you
can
can
treat
use
this.
it in your subsequent cycles.
Okay, मतलब ये
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं है recurring. It is not a recurring thing.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I've had
So,
I'll just mention one. Give me a minute. I want to just show you something. Just to give this young lady a little hope. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay, because she's asked me this question, I want to just show her this, and I'm sure this will give her hope. 1 minute. Oops.
so meanwhile, I'll just read out the
Can
message.
you
Jaya
see
and
this? Can you see this? So this patient,
yes.
after an empty follicle syndrome in her next IVF, this baby was born, and after that, this child was born. She conceived him naturally.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. So I mean, this is just for, just a little hope.
We'll say the hope is there. So
Yes. I mean,
don't worry.
I had that patient's picture. All these patients, remind me never to give up. That's why I have all these pictures with me, where they remind me don't give up. I meant even the worst of cases. You've seen natural pregnancies. You've seen, repeated IVF failures conceive in the subsequent cycles. So not to give up.
Right. So Jaya and Pooja are saying thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your advice. And we have next query, ma'am. How to know early pregnancy?
If you've not missed a period, I mean, if you want to still know it early, of course, you do a urine pregnancy test. And if the urine pregnancy test doesn't tell you and you still suspect that you are pregnant, you want to know, then you do a serum beta HCG. So the blood test will tell
Right.
you whether, you are pregnant or no, early on.
Early pregnancy.
Hmm.
Next query, ma'am wanted to know, is there any side effects of undergoing multiple IVF cycles? Does timing of injections after ET affects the result of IVF cycle?
We can do up safely up to 6 IVF cycles. Okay, so doesn't matter if you're having multiple IVF cycles. Sometimes some people do require multiple IVF cycles. After 6, yes, certain side effects can happen, but again, even those side effects are not common. But yes, those side effects are documented after 6 IVF pickup cycles. Okay, now
Okay.
timing of injections, definitely they matter, and it's recommended that you take, if injections are advised, that it's taken at the same time every day, and because the progesterone levels otherwise vary if the injections are not taken at the right time, and that can affect your pregnancy rate.
So you can, that means please take a break before your embryo transfer so that your body can regain again.
Yeah.
So thank you, doctor. Thank you. And next we have, hello, doctor. Would like to add, I'm having Ayurvedic treatment for unblocking tubes. Even one has opened, but don't know about the functioning. Even the fluid is over. Do I have chances to conceive naturally? And can I go for IVF without clipping? What are the success rates in my case?
I meant Ayurvedic, homeopathic, all these alternative treatments. Anshu, are usually, treatments taken. I won't comment on it because I'm not a specialist in Ayurveda or a specialist in homeopathy. But yes, we have patients taking these treatments, but not for unblocking tubes. People take it for improving the counts, improving the egg quality. Okay, but I cannot comment whether it will benefit your case, because your case is what you have mentioned is that you've got blocked tubes, and to my knowledge, Ayurveda might not help in really unblocking the tubes. Now, okay, even if it has opened chances of conceiving, and you've mentioned about clipping. Now, remember, a doctor will only, I mean, a fertility specialist will advise clipping only if they feel that tube, I showed you that picture, right? That whether only if they feel if that tube is going to interfere with pregnancy implantation, that is, that tube is having unhealthy fluid, that fluid is going to fall on the embryo and prevent it from implanting, only then will they ask you to clip the tubes. Otherwise, every unhealthy tube is not clipped. It's only an unhealthy tube filled with fluid which is communicating with the uterine cavity. Only such tubes are usually advised to be clipped. So if you are having such a tube, then again, chances even of natural conception are poor. So,
Right.
yes. So again, it's very individualized. Anshu, I will not be able to comment without knowing the entire case, whether you can conceive naturally or no, and whether you need clipping and whether you need IVF.
One query I have, low AMH, that is around 1, failed IVF, 6 oocytes retrieved, but no growth in embryos. Is it possible to have SEV cycle or should I go for donor cycle?
So how young is she? If she's young, I would suggest that
She's
she.
36. She's 36.
So I won't say she's young. I won't say she's too old. She's, like a borderline age group, but with a low AMH, with an IVF cycle which did not do well. So it's a calculated chance she'll have to take, Purnima. I meant it's up to her. She can try again, because I don't have embryos growing well in one cycle. Doesn't mean I'll jump to a donor egg cycle, but I will give the patient options. You retry again. That was one cohort of eggs. That is one group of eggs which were, retrieved. Maybe another group will be better, but it's a trial. So you try another cycle, understanding that it might repeat again, or you might just be lucky and you have good quality embryos in your other cycle, versus you don't want to take the chance, you want a higher success rates. There's so many other factors which make you decide that. You decide for a donor egg cycle is the other option. It's a very personal decision based on the case, based on what she's gone through, what are her chances, are there other factors influencing her pregnancy rates. So I would look into everything, Purnima, and then advise.
Next is polyp a chance for infertility?
So what she means to say is, does polyp cause infertility?
Right, right.
Yeah. If a polyp is diagnosed and uh, conception is not happening easily, definitely I would say this is one of the reasons,
Okay.
and which has to be treated. It also depends on the size of the polyp. So if a polyp is diagnosed, I'm assuming it's diagnosed on ultrasound, and if it is seen on ultrasound, it means the polyp size must be at least more than 1 mm in size.
So, better to contact your doctor and get a better view of what actually polyp is doing.
Yes,
Is it hindering or something else? So please
but
go
yes,
and
it
check
can
for it.
hinder. Yes, a
It can.
polyp can interfere with pregnancy.
Pregnancy, right. Okay, so Sada and Srijana are saying thank you. I'm so glad that my query has been answered well. Well, thank you, doctor, and Purnima. Thank you, ma'am.
Most
And
welcome.
thank you so much. We have discussed so many queries, so many queries. I thought that we should stick on AMH and 30 plus, but we have lot many queries with us. So,
Yes.
any special parting note from your side, Dr.
Yeah.
Aarti?
So I actually, 1 second. I just made a few things. 1 second. Uh, yeah, I'll just share my screen. This is just a parting note which I want to comment on. Can you see my screen? Can you see
Not
my screen?
yet. Abhinay.
You can't see it? Okay,
No,
I will share it once more. Now?
no, ma'am. Yes, now.
Now you can?
Yes.
Yeah, so these are just my tips for improving your fertility. Always ask yourself, what have you done to help your body to be more fertile? So a positive mindset definitely helps. Nutrition, good exercise, good amount of exercise every day. Always, your body weight should be normal, and even if you have a normal body weight, doesn't mean you don't exercise. Exercise, we know, improves the circulation, and improves the hormonal status of our body. And
Right.
also, I mean, I know what patients go through, their problems, how much they research, nothing works, they don't know what to do, they don't know how to stay positive. They've been trying for for such a long time. Doctors say everything is normal, but they are still not able to conceive. So these are all the things they go through. So my heart goes out to them. And what you can do from your end, the doctor will do what she has to do, but from your end, don't just keep guessing that this might be the reason. Go get tested, exercise, detox. Also detox from negative people, from too much of technology, from news. I also see lots of young couples, they're on the phone till late in the night, and too much of overexposure to technology. Maybe that should, I always advise my patients 1 hour before they go to sleep, to completely off all forms of technology, and get good nutrition, exercise, food. Sorry, get good nutrition, exercise, food, and a positive mindset. So definitely all this contributes to your success and improves your fertility.
Right. So Minakshi is asking, is it possible to improve egg quality after 30? Yes, as doctor just said, it is possible. And I think the possibilities are there in your mind. बस सोचो और लग जाओ. Don't think that yes, we can do it. Consult expert, consult your doctor, and please seek advice. एक तो I would suggest कि please don't Google anymore.
Very true.
So this
Yeah,
Google is harming
you
more
get
than
lost,
giving.
Purnima. I mean, when you Google, I mean, when a patient Googles, I've seen this in, many
Right,
patients.
right.
In Google, they have so many contradicting, amount of information out there. They don't know what to believe, what not to believe. And it doesn't stop anywhere. One leads to another, leads to another. You
Right.
just, when the patient just becomes overwhelmed with too much of information, and it doesn't even help. It's not like you've got some point which is going to change the way your body is going to behave. With googling, it's only going to make you more confused. So ask your doctor for advice. Let it be simple. You focus on improving your health, your fertility, your lifestyle. That is the most thing. I like what you said initially, holistic approach to
Right.
fertility problems. So improve your lifestyle. That is one thing you can do, which is in your hands, which is in no doctor's hands.
Right.
So
Right.
your mindset, your health, your exercise, your lifestyle. Also, don't isolate yourself. I see many people, Purnima, they, when they are in their journey of treatment, subfertility, they don't like being asked questions by people, being commented on. They sort of socially
Mm-hmm.
withdraw themselves.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, but then they don't realize, as it is such a stressful journey. uh, your friends, whoever you really bond with, your family, your husband, you have to get that sort of emotional support. So look out for support. Don't isolate yourself. Do things which make you happy. Many people, they don't give themselves time. People have hobbies, they've forgotten about it. Their whole focus is only googling, finding out what might be the problem. Instead, make a list of things which you would love to do, which make you happy, and do those things which make you happy. Change your mindset.
Right.
You will,
Connect with
I like,
yourself.
yes, and I like that statement. Infertility is not a dead end. Yeah, it is a journey, and there is an answer. Sooner or later you will get to your destination. So don't be disappointed by failures. Be strong. Look for all the good things in life. uh, and always take support of people around you, and detox yourself, not only nutritionally, but also from technology, from news, and from negative people who don't make you feel good about yourselves, because all this actually even affects your immune system and your hormones as well.
Right. So, ma'am, we have one last query. My AMH is 6.8, but eggs not in more in ovary. Why? I have also diagnosed PCOS. Just want to know. Eggs
Egg is
not in
not.
more.
So I am assuming what she's trying to say is that she has eggs, but maybe they're not
Okay.
growing, because that usually happens in patients
Hmm.
with PCOS.
So, ma'am, egg.
AMH is high.
Okay. AMH is high, but the egg is not growing. But egg only 6 to 7 follicles.
So this is just classically a case of PCOS. That is, women
Right. Right.
PCOS have high AMH, lots of follicles, but they don't grow, and that is because of the hormonal imbalance. So for
Right.
this one, first and foremost is lifestyle change, as I just mentioned. Yeah, improving your hormonal imbalance by doing exercise, eating. There is something called as a PCOS diet, that is a low
Right.
glycemic diet. So you can ask the nutritionist for that diet, and doing enough exercise, normalizing your body weight, and doctors give certain supplements also to improve your imbalance and to improve your chances of growing eggs. So if eggs are not growing, the doctor usually increases the dose of medication which is being given to you. So there are lots of things which we can do to make eggs grow, and because these are all expected problems in patients who have PCOS.
PCOS. So don't worry, Pooja, you can contact us and take the consultation from our doctors. And if any of the query by chance, वैसे मैंने पूरी कोशिश किया, I never left the question, but अगर कुछ रह गया, तो please contact us and we'll connect you with Dr. Aarti. And thank you, Dr. Aarti. Thank you so much. And it's
Most
been a
welcome,
long
Purnima.
time that we are discussing things, but वो कहते हैं ना पता ही नहीं चला in our discussions.
So,
So
very true.
thank you. And if any one of you have personal query for Dr. Aarti, then please connect with us. We'll connect you to Dr. Aarti. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much
Most
for
welcome,
connecting with us.
Purnima. It was a pleasure being here on this platform, and it was lovely interacting with you.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye.
Bye.